Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Doug.
And I'm Lorenzo.
And this is Good Suffering. Now, normally on this show, we review a film that I've seen.
But I haven't.
But before we do that, we do everybody's favorite spooky segment of the spooky season.
Horror news.
I really do love it.
I'm glad you're supporting me, finally.
Well, I want to talk about, before we even get to news, some cool podcasts that I've jumped into recently.
Podcast plugs.
Some of them are a bit newer than others. First, we've got a great new podcast from the Blumhouse Podcast Network called Attack of the Queer Wolf, which addresses horror from a queer perspective. They're getting some guests on. I know they just got on Don Mancini from Child's Play, and they're doing The Hunger for that episode. They've done The Lost Boys and got a few others, but I've listened to every episode. They're up to 4. There's Halloweenies, which is a limited run podcast that goes really deep dives into each Halloween movie. Each episode counts as a movie. They're going through from the original, leading all the way up to the new one.
Halloween as in Halloween series, like Michael Myers.
Yeah, as in the Michael Myers series. It's not directly a horror podcast, but Filmography, which is a Consequence of Sound podcast, along with Halloweenies, their new season is on all of John Carpenter's films, and it's a great dive. They're 2 episodes out of 5 into it right now. Great, really just address every facet of each of his films and group them up in a really interesting way. The subtitle of the podcast is like a filmmaker's podcast. So it really does dive into like theory and like the technical aspect of it. It's not just like a basic discussion of, hey, did you like this movie or not?
Cool.
Yeah. There's also Fear Initiative, another new Blumhouse podcast, which is a horror D&D game that just different section of it each episode. They just come back each week and play like another hour and a half of D&D. It's super fun to listen to.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
What's that one called again?
Fear Initiative.
Fear Initiative.
And then finally, From the Neighborhood, which is the
band?
No. It is an interview podcast talking to all of the people who made Blue Velvet who aren't like the ones in the forefront. It's like, oh, who's the guy from Wilmington, Indiana? Like, because it was shot in Wilmington, Indiana. It's like, who's the guy who ran, like props back and forth? All these like little people, and it's like their perspectives on Blue Velvet and what they remember.
Strictly Blue Velvet.
Strictly Blue Velvet.
That's
it's
cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great podcast.
I do like Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you'd like that one. You should check it out.
Wait,
you should all check it out.
You knew I liked that one of Lynch films, you mean?
No, I knew you would like that podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're from the Midwest, too. Okay, so horror news. Big one, George Romero, the late, great George Romero.
Late.
In an interview with comicbook.com, his wife, or I guess widow, said that there are 40 to 50 completed or nearly completed Romero scripts that they're trying to shop around. And also a fully completed film from 1973 that nobody's seen that they are going to release. It's not a horror movie, but apparently it's about ageism, and it is pretty like tense. I'm intrigued. I hope it gets some kind of big release where I could see it. You know, not just like a festival screening or something.
That like you can't go to.
Yeah.
Like can.
Yeah. Or like TIFF or something.
We can go to TIFF.
We should go to TIFF.
Yeah.
Catch Good Suffering at TIFF next year,
Road
2019. Oh, God. We are mourning the passing of the late Scott Wilson, who died this week. Herschel on The Walking Dead, most notably, but also a genre vet with films like Behind the Mask or The Exorcist 3 or The Ninth Configuration. He was also on the 80s Twilight Zone and The X-Files.
He was a wonderful father.
Was he? To Maggie?
Yeah. Maggie, yeah.
And he really learned how to only have one leg really well before getting his head hacked off.
Yeah, he adjusted to that really well. And he took that, decapitation really well, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God, that was a badass scene.
Yeah. Who did that? Was that the governor?
Yeah, it was the governor.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Work has already begun on the next Halloween film, and we could see it as soon as October 2019.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that's news that should have been released prior to the movie coming out.
Yeah, I don't know how I
I'm a
feel
little
about
upset
that.
I don't know where they're going to go with it. Obviously, I haven't seen the film.
Yeah, I mean, and as you'll hear in this episode that you're listening to, sequels can be tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have seen this, right? The cat for Pet Cemetery?
You guys hear about this?
You guys hear about this? They got this cat for Pet Cemetery.
So there's this cat, and he's scraggly. He's adorable, though.
Oh, he looks so good.
Yeah.
It looks really just a lot better than the cat from the original Pet Cemetery.
I would let him into my house.
Mm-hmm.
I would take care of him.
Especially if he's going to cause some sort of mayhem that brings the dead back and whatnot.
I would, yeah. Sure, why not? It's a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the original Pet Cemetery? Or
No.
read the book or anything?
No.
I haven't read the book. I've seen the movie, though.
I haven't seen the movie. I haven't read the book.
Maybe we'll do that.
I know there's like that scene with like the cats and like the breathing thing, right? Doesn't it like take someone's soul out of a child or something?
Kinda.
Yeah.
There's also the thing with Zelda. You've never seen that? Not Zelda like from Legend of Zelda, no, but like Aunt Zelda, no. That's like
his name is Link.
Fuck you. Moving on. Conjuring 3 is coming out. James Wan will not be directing. It will be handed over to Michael. I don't know if it's Chavez or Chaves because it's with an S at the end. He's got his first, I guess, his directorial debut coming out soon. But
Is James Wan too busy with like Aquaman or something at the time?
Yeah, he's got all that Aquaman money now. Now he's doing DC shit. But yeah, we will get the return of Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, Linda Cardellini is going to be in the new one.
Via Formaggio.
Yeah, Vera Farmigan and Tasinga Farminga, great sisters. And then finally, we talked about this a little bit prior to recording the Haunt review.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss. Dreyfuss wants to CGI the shark
right.
in Jaws, man.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, let's go ahead and CGI this shark that they went through hell to actually get to work, and it's done super effectively that you'll hardly even see aside from like the fin. Yeah, let's go ahead and spend like however much money to make that computer generated.
Christ.
Are you crazy?
And then stick it into a 70s movie.
Right. There's no need.
Awkward.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah. It's a masterpiece of film. It's what a lot of people consider like their favorite film, greatest film of all time, et cetera, et cetera. It's my favorite Spielberg film.
I would
let's CGI the shit out of it.
Yeah, stupid.
Stupid. Check out the new 6ix9ine track. Stupid.
Don't check it out. If you like your
Bobby
brain cells,
Shmurda.
don't listen to it. Bobby Shmurda, live from prison.
So today we're talking about Hell House LLC and Hell House LLC 2, the Abaddon Hotel. A couple of notes before we start that off. The second Hell House is a Shudder exclusive. You can find free trials on their website or through Hell House's Facebook page or Fright Rags, a bunch of other, co-sponsors.
Or just get Doug's login information like I did.
Yeah, you could do that too. Just hit me up. DM me. I'll give it out. But there's a bunch of great movies on there that span all of film history and also a lot of great exclusives besides Hell House 2. But before we go into our review, we are going to give you our on-the-road review of the Waldorf Estate of Fear, where they shot both of these films out in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. Great little haunt we went to a few days ago, and we recorded a little something special for it.
We drove all the way out there in the middle of nowhere, which we'll get to hear more about.
Oh, yeah. If there's one thing I could say that ties in the haunt to the films is the hype is real about just
getting there.
Yeah. But okay, guys, you'll hear back from us in a little bit. Hey, everybody, we're on the road heading to Waldorf Estate of Fear. We're about 20 minutes out from it right now. Everybody else say hi.
Hey, that's me.
Hi, what's going on?
That's Taylor over there.
Yeah, if you could hear him.
Yeah, it's better if you speak up into the mic.
God damn it, 2 episodes like this and
Yeah,
you say the same
seriously.
thing. Oh, no, that's more on you.
So yeah, we're on the road right now.
Yes, we are. We're heading to Waldorf. Opening night of this haunt, October 5th.
Mm-hmm.
We're really hell housing it up.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. It's kind of horrifying, especially because like I know like early in the movie, they say how like this is like in the middle of nowhere and it's like a really creepy part of town.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of getting the same vibes right now.
Yeah, and we still got a way to go, and we're just getting further and further from the big highways.
Yep.
It's super exciting.
It's scary.
Lorenzo just watched the movie for the first time late last night. It was after midnight, right?
I mean,
at least by the time you
midnight,
finished it. Yeah. So yeah, wow.
It's fresh. It's fresh.
Real fresh, and we're gonna save our review of it for after this, But I definitely could say you thought it was scary. I think it's scary too.
I think it's fair to say that it's a scary movie.
Taylor hasn't seen it, but he's along for this trip
For the haunt.
Maybe to give him this is good for a more like objective view, because he's not gonna have a reference point to make things a little more scary.
Yeah. No, you know what? We planned that. We knew that all along.
Yeah, of course we knew that all along.
He's the control.
We're smart guys here. But I'm super excited to see this place. We're going to get there a little bit after 9 p.m. and get really in the dark. I like doing these haunts real late,
You just like putting us in like precarious situations like where we could easily get murdered or something.
Yeah, catch us next week. We're sticking our arms into crocodiles' mouths.
Yep.
Ooh, what's that? Imagination. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, it is cool. It looks like a weird makeshift Chuck E. Cheese or something.
Yeah, some kind of deal like that. This is really creepy.
This is a really creepy town.
This is like, 2-lane little kind of faux highway with
off-brand shops.
Yeah, off-brand shops and little rundown houses.
It's got.
I've seen Trump signs. That's how I get freaked out.
You know what's funny is that this is Pennsylvania. Like I know this kind of land. I know what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
You see all those weird Midwestern signs when you're driving through or whatever.
Are you from the Midwest originally?
So yes, and hey, there's a Wawa here.
Heyo.
Oh, shit.
I suddenly feel a little bit safer. But this is like another level of like creepy. Like this is not like normal, like in the trees away from the city creepy. Like this is like creepy.
I think
like small town they might like kill us creepy.
We didn't do a review on this, but I think this is a little bit already like a better experience than Brighton, because that was like right in the middle. Like how scary can a haunted house be when I pull out and I see dingbats in Clifton? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot. Yeah, we didn't do Brighton.
Yeah, we didn't.
Wasn't
do Brighton.
Wasn't worth it anyway.
No.
Yeah, we didn't.
Really
that's our review right there.
Yeah. Brighton.
Not so great.
Yeah, but this one we're excited to see, and hopefully we'll see a couple of the people from the movie, because they're the owner is in the film and her daughter is in the film. Very excited to maybe be like, oh hey, you're the Hell House lady. That's not. Do you remember the blonde girl who opens the door for everybody with the short hair, and she's in the photo in the middle? That's the owner of the haunt. And I guess I should have saved this for the actual review, but also the creepy girl in Paul's room, that's her daughter.
Oh no way.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So I'm excited. I know this is like a pretty minimal haunt. I know this is
like on a smaller scale kind of thing.
Yeah, more like people.
The building doesn't look all that big for one thing.
No, there's 3 different things, and I'm super excited about Infection and the Hayride. I hope we do the haunt, the house last.
Yeah,
I really want
think we do. I think what they do first. So first of all, let's break it down. So first, it's the haunted hayride, where they take you through like cornfield. Then it's what's called Infection.
That's super
which
cool.
is really cool. Where
interactive.
They tie like 3 flags around you. I guess like a belt, like if you're playing flag football or something. And what you got to do is make it through the haunt. But
let's stop at the armory and get strapped real quick, just to make sure we're safe during this.
Tractor supply.
Get my blammy.
The tool.
So you have to run through and make sure that the zombies don't get all your flags, and if they do get all 3, which are I think designating like your organs, you become a zombie. I don't know what that entails. It didn't really say like if like I don't know you're stuck there for the rest of your life, or you just get kicked out or something. I don't know. And then lastly is just like it's the house. It's the haunt within the house. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing how it goes.
Definitely.
Again, like I said, I mean, it doesn't look like it's a very big operation, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. More, I like from what I've read about it, it's not really like animatronics or these big elaborate sets. It's just like just a creepy place with great acting and great, just like real primal scares, more than like where Field of Screams was more of like very much in near theatrical production.
Yeah.
So it's a good juxtaposition between the two.
Bookstore.
Oh, and a bookstore. It's probably closed, right?
Yeah. But I'm just trying to look for any anything that will give me some kind of.
They got a Peebles and a Dollar Tree.
Yeah. I'm still not feeling it, man.
Oh boy! But I guess we'll check back when we're done.
Yeah, and
if we survive,
if we make it out. I do want to say though, if we have any listeners that are from the area, I don't mean to diss your hometown here.
And your nice tank that you've got sitting on the side of the highway.
Yeah, I'm still fresh off of Hell House, so don't mind me.
Oh boy, but okay. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Hey guys, we're back. Heading home. A little bit after the Waldorf, we stopped and got some drinks with our new friend.
Yes, my cousin Giovan. Giovan, you're listening to this? Love you.
So, who wants to go first? Let's talk about this haunt, man. I think okay. Just to start off, I think totally different from Field of Screams. Not with quality, definitely not with quality, but with just the approach.
Wildly different.
Yes,
because for one thing, this isn't much of a park or anything. It's just an open plot of land with a building, with a house, or what used to be the hotel or restaurant rather.
A very cute fire pit.
Yeah, a very nice little fire pit too. That was nice.
It felt really homegrown, really very personal. I felt like I was interacting with more people. It was less of just kind of shoehorning everybody into all the haunts. It was nice. It was good. When we went to Field of Screams, and even at Brighton, it was it felt very safe. There was fire trucks there and EMTs. Everything was ready.
Everything was well lit.
Yeah, this you couldn't tell it was a haunt unless you knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just a creepy house.
Yeah, or some I don't know, small street fair or something. Because they had rides there. They had little games.
Yeah. I continued the pierogi streak. Got pierogies here too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You got pierogies at Field of Screams. Yeah.
You got fries.
I got some good old fries. They were yummy.
That was our first attraction. We were just you know what? Fuck this haunt. Let's get some food.
But I guess the second attraction is the hayride that we did.
Yes, we did.
And that's kind of how Field of Screams started. So I think it was kind of an appropriate way to start this trip. Kind of keep it parallel. So what did you think of this hayride? It's kind of similar in the way it's the same kind of flatbread. God, I did that last episode. Flatbed. There's no seats, no nothing. It's just a bunch of hay, sitting with random people, going into barns, different sections. But what did you think?
This wasn't a touch haunt. First and foremost, Field of Screams, they were grabbing you. They were getting a lot closer to you than they did here, but that was okay. This was more outwardly about different movies, and that's going to be the same when I go to Creepy World in Missouri, where it's a lot very themed behind about movies.
Yeah.
And it was okay. I mean, it was definitely, I would say, my least favorite of the three.
Yeah, same here. I think that one
was still cool, though.
No,
it was still really rad.
I think it was more kid-friendly than the other parts.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they give a kid lollipops in the very beginning.
Yeah, the guy that was letting us all on said to the kid here, hold these, and don't eat them. You'll know when to use them. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of cute because then when we got so like you said the different parts. I know there was a challenge to try to name all, what was it, 14 sections that were all each based on a movie.
Yeah, I forgot to write them down, and we would have missed one or two at least. Anyway,
there was one that I definitely missed. I had no idea.
End, especially.
And yeah, it's but when we got to the trick or treat section, they were little children with little jack-o'-lanterns, and he had to give them the candy. He's like, "Oh, I have candy." It was really sweet. It was cute.
Oh, that was Sam from Trick or Treat. That's the main character of Trick or Treat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh.
We'll do that sometime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Next Halloween.
Yeah. But so that's one thing actually that I noticed right off the bat that kind of almost freaked me out more. I was just that it was children there, legit, kid actors.
Yeah, we didn't see that at Field of Screams, which was really cool though. Honestly, definitely added to it in a certain way. At least when it was effective. I would say just to be critical, the Haunted Hayride had some weaker spots. The Chucky thing. Hey, look at me shit talking Chucky again on the podcast. But yeah, I didn't like the Chucky one. Didn't like a couple of them. The ones that were indoors, like the Saw one, and the one at the end with the chainsaws. Besides them playing Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, were really cool. The one with the needles, right? That's the Saw one.
That was Saw, yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. I like when they drop stuff on you. It freaks you out, you know?
Yeah. It's like hypothermic needles just...
A+ on them not touching me with a chainsaw this time, though, because definitely scarier.
Yeah.
As soon as they touched me over the field of screams, I was not digging it.
It went like right over your head, and like you did like a hard duck. Like you just like dipped. You're like, not today, man.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't dying today, come on.
And then, so yeah, I mean, I think the overall consensus was that, like, you know, it was alright. There were some good moments. To me, it felt like a lot of the actors were like younger there. You know, kind of just having fun. Maybe like they're high schoolers or literal kids for some of them.
Family, friends, and
yeah.
I know it's a lot of the family that owns it gets involved.
Yeah, it seemed like a good time. It just seemed like a lot of fun. It was fun. It was lighthearted.
Very,
lighthearted.
The hayride itself was very kitsch. Very like
kitsch.
Yeah.
Now, secondly, we went into the part that we were, I wouldn't say most anticipating, but, you know, kind of really intrigued by was the infection part.
Yeah, definitely the most intrigued. I was the most confused about what the process was going to be like, you know, like what the whole deal of the haunt was going to be.
Yeah. So essentially it really is like they just put on this tiny like belt, and you have like 3 flags like stuck together with Velcro, and they tell you walk, don't run through it, but also don't let the zombies get your guts. And it had a little bit of a storyline, which was kind of cool too.
Yeah, that was really fun. You guys didn't move fast enough though. God damn.
Yeah,
everybody was like, ooh, let's walk through this like it's a haunt. Like
there's always someone still chasing you.
There's always somebody chasing you. Yeah, when they see you're moving too slow. And I was in the back for the first half.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just trying to protect my ass, you know? Especially because I had flags literally on my ass.
We were moving though.
It started going. Once people figured out the deal.
Once I saw, yeah, they were like 3 girls that like had to come with us.
2 girls. Yeah, and I don't even know how they snatched the one from me. I think I didn't notice. I think it was the one that was like directly like behind me, like a tail.
Yeah.
And they just scooped it.
Well, once I saw that they were chasing, and I was like in the front for a bit of it. Like I was like, okay, let's go then.
Once I got to the front, then I felt I was ready. I was running. I was dodging.
Yeah. I did sprain my ankle though.
Oh yeah, you were screaming about it.
I was down. I had to put Taylor in the front.
Yeah.
But it was
in the front the rest of the time.
Everybody survived though.
Yeah,
you and I were the only ones who lost anything. I lost one as well.
Yeah, Taylor, you made it out like unscathed.
Oh, that was because I broke all the rules. I ran, and the one time a guy almost grabbed my shit, I broke number 1 rule: don't touch the actors. I swatted his fucking hand away, just like slapped it.
They were chill with it. I jumped over that fucking table.
Yeah, Gio did that.
I was like, he did that, and I was like, I bet.
He's like, yep. There were moments where like you literally just had to like kind of run through them, like there was no other way out.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. It was fun. I like it being interactive like that, and you know, here too, like there was, I think, an escape room too, or zombie escape room, or
somewhere on
something like that. I didn't see it. Yeah, but you know, I think that's interesting. I think that's something that maybe I would want to explore. Maybe we do it eventually, like on a show or something. But
yeah, we should do some more escape rooms. I've never done one with you. I've done
more
one with
interactive.
Taylor.
Yeah, that's right. You guys did do escape room.
Yeah.
I want to do a spooky one because we did like a beach theme.
Exactly.
There was a bomb involved, but
there was. I don't remember which one it was, but a coworker was telling me that like there's like a guy like locked up like in the room with you, just like screaming.
Some of those, yeah.
He's like, get me out of here. So like it's just like a 5-minute thing.
Yeah, those are like the 5-minute ones. I think those only have like 2 or 3 things you have to figure out. I wonder if they're easier though. I wonder if it's the same difficulty, just like shorter.
If they're like the same difficulty, I don't know.
I don't know if I can pull it off. It took us a long time when we did the escape room to like even get our bearings on anything.
Oh yeah, we just kept on like trying the same things over and over and over again.
I haven't lost an escape room yet, but it's gotten close. You know.
Yeah.
We
So
were close,
I want to.
right?
I want to
We
have 5
were like
minutes.
2 minutes shy.
Yeah, stupid close.
And we all had a drink beforehand, so our judgment was a little off, on that. But yeah, so infection was super fun.
Yeah.
I guess is the point we're trying to make with all this escape room talk.
Oh yeah.
It was a true escape room.
Yeah, you literally just had to
escape.
get through. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Whoa! After a
last-
short funnel cake break.
Yes, we did have a little bit of funnel cake. We finally go into the haunt of the what do they call it? Like something hotel or the Abaddon Hotel.
Well, yeah.
That's what they called it. That's the name
I
of
think
the
they
haunt.
changed it to the Abaddon. Well, Abaddon was also still a theme in Abaddon. Was still a theme
For
in
the
the infection.
infection.
Yeah. They called it a research center or something.
Yeah.
It's fun. I think they named all of that Abaddon after the movie came
Oh,
out.
yeah,
Because even
definitely.
the T-shirt, they were like, "Oh, this is the old shirt." It was like the Waldorf thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's still called Waldorf, but they changed it. Well, they definitely got some props from the movie, or the movie got some props for them. But I doubt like the Hotel Abaddon thing wasn't. That was made for the show, for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, so for one thing, I gotta say I was just very nervous going into this building in the first place.
God, yeah.
Because like
we were
just
the last group too.
Yeah, everything was like shutting down. Lights were shutting off. Literally, we were
boy.
in darkness, just waiting in line to get into the house.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I noticed that freaked me out immediately was that the windows really are boarded up the way they are in the movie.
Yeah, it doesn't even look fake. It's like legit, just boarded up.
Yeah, and the entrance, the way they get into the haunted house is not the front doors around that side. That's the way we had to go in too. So
with the same whole like little
the little awning thing.
awning area and stuff too. It was like super legit.
Yeah, so it felt
Crazy.
way too close to the movie. It's still like just freaked me out. But I mean, I don't know. It was good. I mean, and as soon as like the door opened, after like the maid let us in, who was like pretty freaking creepy herself, immediately like I recognized it. Like you just
Yeah.
see the room, you know where that is. It's like where everybody like signs up as the front entrance. Well, not the front entrance, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that's where like the last stand happens, like where Sarah gets murdered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like right there is where Sarah and Paul died.
Yeah.
Hey, you've seen Hell House LLC?
I've seen it.
Hey,
And it made it for a more visceral experience here.
definitely fucking cool, man. It was so great. You feel like you're visiting the set, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
definitely still its own haunt. They had like some clown stuff, some more intense, more like funhousey clown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely went all around a bit with the crawling and stuff. You don't see anything like crawling in the movie.
Yeah.
But if you were like, wow, this is where they shot Hell House. And even though you've only seen it for a day, like it leaves an impression. You know?
Yeah,
It's just
definitely.
this general space. It's like imagine walking. I don't want to make such a put it in such a high regard, but like it's almost like walking through the Overlook or something. You know what I mean? It's a set
A place that you like recognize. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And then like after we get in, like we get greeted by a bellhop, who I
Yep.
gotta say, killed it. It was
Great acting.
very
Amazing.
creepy.
It
Very
had a
good.
long scene with a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, really was able to hold it down. That's a
committed to
theater
that.
kid. That's got to be a theater kid.
Yeah,
at
he was
that
great.
Point, yeah.
And I hear you have maybe I would call a hot take, but an interesting take at the very least. Taylor on the bellhop.
I think the bellhop made the entire thing. Just, I don't know, like the way he, like his whole acting scene, it was long. It set up all the expectation that followed, and like me having not seen Hell House LLC, I could say it was legitimately scary even without having seen the movie and having anything to reference it with. They're just like the bellhop just kind of fucked me up when he pointed at me and said my name was dead.
Yeah, all of us were dead. He's like, oh, let's see. I was afraid that he was actually gonna know our names, and then
I would have been nope.
Yeah.
I would have been like, hey, I'm gonna go back out the way I came. Thank you so much.
And then like
and they laugh at us.
Like the
Oh my
maid
God.
was there the entire time with the bellhop, and they just started staring each other down at one point, and then they started laughing maniacally in sync. It was great.
Yeah, it was really good. It
Yeah.
was great. And like immediately, like you just go through like this kind of hallway, and it's like dark. There was even a sign that says like beware, like there are areas of total darkness, and they weren't kidding. Like
was at
areas,
least 2 or 3, yeah.
multiple. I think there's even more than 3 to be honest. And so one thing that I think we definitely need to talk about. I mean, not that we necessarily need to walk through the whole place, but the fact that there aren't animatronics. There's not that much crazy, robotics or anything.
Yeah, no, not really even all that many like props and whatnot. Some of the bigger rooms would have beds and stuff, and that would tie in. But like it was really just about like just being a creepy place. It was set up like very creepy, looked abandoned, with
Yeah.
great acting and just like well-timed scares and passionate actors. Really breaking like haunting like in like haunted houses down to like a really bare form.
Yeah,
Like you said, very visceral.
Yeah, it didn't feel obvious at all. Like there were no spots that were like, okay, I can expect someone to come out here. You know, they were hidden perfectly. You didn't really know where you were going. It's kind of disorienting because there was no real signs or anything. There was no clue to like you had to go this way. You really just had to sit there and like, okay, which way do I go?
Yeah.
Aside from the beginning, when after like we get past like the bellhop, they're like, hey, good job, you did it. Like now you can go.
That was
here's the exit.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then you walk
I
out.
kicking us out for a second. I was like,
Yeah.
oh wait, what happened?
Yeah. And then there's a guy with a chainsaw out there.
Ah, god
Yeah.
damn it.
Always
Yeah.
a chainsaw. There are 2 chainsaws in that house.
Yeah, that's how you make me not trust you. I expect one chainsaw. It's this, the second one isn't bad in Haunts. It's the third one. You know what I mean? Because it's like there can't be any more than 2. Or just the anticipation between 2 and 3 where you're like, oh my god, how many fucking chainsaws are we gonna have here? God damn. But it was fun.
It was so good. I can't stress enough. Like the actors were just on it.
Yeah.
So good. Like the cook in the kitchen, like he was committed. Like he was great. He was like in my face. Like the people like crawling like backwards.
Yo, he
It was
kind of the cook broke character for a second when Doug didn't come out of the like little crawling tunnel for like a weird amount of time after we all got out.
Wait, I just realized something. Oh, wait, no, finish and then I have some.
Oh no, he just kind of like says, "Wait, where'd you guys go?" And then like you finally come out, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he
Well, yeah, he just
growls at you.
screams at you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember
He was
that.
waiting for you to get out.
Remember the dude who gave you the note?
yes.
Yeah.
That's the dude from Hell House who kills himself after. Like the guy.
Yeah.
That's him.
Like the guy that played the clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, it was him.
Is it really?
Yeah, that was
okay,
totally him.
So okay, you cleared that up for me. I thought so.
I should have brought my DVD, had him sign it.
God, that's so freaking
You know
cool.
what my favorite part about that guy was? You guys just stayed in the room and waited to see if he was actually going to torture you.
Oh, that guy upstairs. That's Oliver. Are we talking about the guy who gave us the note?
Oh, okay.
The guy that we handed the note to. Yeah, because he was like, you're scot free, Taylor.
Yeah, he
because
just told me to
handed
leave.
him the
Like,
note.
okay, and then you guys just kind of stood there for a while.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna make us come around and sit down or something. I was confused.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be something interactive.
He's like, "You're first," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, all right, sure, I'm game." I did a Field of Screams. I'm like, "All right, do whatever the fuck you want to me, fuck me up." And I at Brighton got diddled because I was very willing to just do whatever they wanted.
Oh, at Brighton.
Yeah, with the clown who like
guy
grabbed
fondled
my
me.
package.
Yeah.
That's why I decided not to do an episode. I was like, you know what? You touch my balls, you don't get the promotion.
Even though we're still talking about
Even though, yeah, we've spent a good chunk of time.
man. No, it was. I feel like. I don't know. Like, what other points can we really go off of aside from the fact that like, total darkness.
We didn't see the attic or the basement.
We went upstairs to the attic. That's where.
That was the attic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh shit.
I just feel like it was like a little bit remodeled or something.
Oh wow, hey.
kinda furnished.
So we didn't go to the basement.
We didn't go
But
to
that's
the
okay,
basement.
'cause,
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we didn't go to the basement. I would not do that. I don't know, like what other parts? Like, I feel like I'm missing something key.
I mean, in general, being in front the entire time during the like pitch black areas where I had to touch my way through, you guys just kind of started holding on to me, or at least Gio did.
Yeah, we made a chain.
Yeah,
we all held on to each other.
that was real good. Thanks guys. We had a lot of male bonding tonight.
Very good male bonding. Just a couple of guys being bros.
Yeah, 5 feet apart.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Not
so
gay.
not good.
we were holding hands at arm's length. All right.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
fine.
All right.
So, I guess also Doug and I, right, do feel like it was kind of more of an impact because we've seen the movie, because the movie's so freaking scary. We see like the creepy clown that's like in that movie.
Like the clown.
Yeah,
From the movie.
and I even said something like, "Yo, that's the clown." Like I was kind of saying it to myself. I was like, "Yo, that's him." And then like the freaking clown actor like gets in my face. He's like, "What about him?" I was like, "Yo, nothing, dude. I'm just trying to get by."
Is that what he was yelling at you about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we have that context. I mean, overall, like, what did you feel about it? Like, did you?
I mean, I think the hype you guys kind of created around the house, just standing in line waiting to get in, like, it met the hype. It was great. But, like, yeah, it's like I kind of wish I saw the movie beforehand just because I feel like I would have gotten, like, a little extra, like, existential fear out of it. Just like, why the fuck am I going in there?
Yeah, exactly. When literally the movie is about people going into a haunted house on opening night
And dying.
and dying. which is what we did without the dying part.
15 to be exact, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes. But all right, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. After
they
watching
need
the
your
movie,
money
though.
more than Field of Screams does.
Yeah, probably.
And try the pierogies. They're nice and crisp.
They're nice. Oh, and we got shirts, by the way.
Oh yeah, we got shirts, baby, merch, and free stickers.
Yeah. You'll see the photos up if you haven't already.
Yeah. Super fun. I really appreciate the amount of value they were able to put into such a local haunt, especially really out of the way. You know, you heard us talk about that long drive there on that stretch of really dark road, and it's all the really way out in Pennsylvania. So it's not like where it's like Field of Screams was by Lancaster, Brighton's right in Clifton. It was way out of the way.
Yeah.
And very low key. And that adds to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It felt like, if something were to go wrong,
Who the fuck?
where would we go? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it was really cool.
Field of Screams had big exit signs everywhere, and especially Brighton did. Brighton was very secure about all that. But this place definitely, it added to it. I never felt truly unsafe, but within the context of a haunted house, definitely it left me with unease.
Yeah.
It was great. So really the perfect experience for a haunted house, in my opinion. I was really, with Field of Screams, I was really into the theatrics of it all. But this was it got me. You know what I mean?
Was
this was
yeah, down to the core, like you said, down to its very essence of a haunted house. There's no gimmicks to be found anywhere, just really good scares with actors that seem really dedicated to what's happening. They care about it. And I feel like even at the end when we were getting our merch, they had a cake for one of the actors, I guess. It was his birthday.
A Freddy cake that they were cutting with a big Michael knife.
Yeah, and it was really sweet. You can kind of get the sense that everybody here is kind of knows each other, has a community, and has this love for what they're doing.
Yeah. But yeah, what more is there to say? I mean, it was
I've
great.
got nothing.
Great.
I just think it's great. I would rave about this place.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I bought the shirt. I didn't buy one anywhere else. I was I want to wear this. I want to show people this.
Yeah, because you know what? It feels different. It feels wholly unique. So, yeah. So check it out. Ever in the area, or even if you're not in the area, kind of like how we're not, take the trip.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. But okay, guys.
Back over to you in the studio.
Hey, thanks, Lorenzo. So, all right, go ahead. What's the IMDb?
Oh, yeah, just go in. So here it is, IMDb bio synopsis of Hell House LLC. 5 years after an unexplained malfunction causes the death of 15 tour goers and staff on the opening night of a Halloween haunted house tour, a documentary crew travels back to the scene of the tragedy to find out what really happened. So it's a long one.
Yeah.
Yeah, though, yeah, that's it, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Okay, so what'd you think about this one?
Well, first of all, you gave me some good advice to watch this movie in the dark.
You should be watching all your horror movies in the dark.
I think I have been for the most part. I think aside from when I'll be eating and that whole night or eating in the dark trend thing that died out, it looks like I never really wanted to partake in that, so I still eat with the lights on. You didn't hear about that?
There's a thing?
Yeah, it was a cool trendy nighttime thing to do with your pals when you're young and sexy in New York or something. You go out and you go to dinner in the complete dark.
Really?
Yeah. So, and I'm not about that. Oh, Tina, what are you doing? Tina's a good cat. She's a spooky cat. But yeah, so aside from just when I'm eating dinner, I turn the light off. But for this in particular, I wanted to make sure that everything's completely dark. It was dark outside, so it's perfect.
You're in a basement.
Yeah, and I was watching on my laptop, right next to me in bed, which was an interesting way to watch it. And then another thing that you told me beforehand going into it was that no matter what I thought of the movie, I was going to be scared by it, or that it is just scary of a movie. And that's entirely true. It is a very scary movie. Really interestingly done with the Yes, handheld, but I meant more of the found footage kind of aspect to it. Lots of cool, not even gimmicky, just like different methods of using found footage. It's a lot of different, I guess, channels you would say, or different points in time where they get the footage from. Even like literally POV stuff, which was really cool. But I guess overall, I thought this movie was just very, very scary, very good. I was freaking out quite a bit. It was good. It was very good. It was good. I think it was just it was a good installation of or installment rather of found footage horror. It was just effective. It was nice.
Yeah, I think in the long run. Oh my god,
poor Tina wants to be part of the show.
I think in the long run, this is going to be a really important installment, as you said, into like the found footage canon, and it's really late into the found footage game. You know what I mean? And I think that benefits it because it is so far removed from just the glut of found footage that was hitting theaters, and the fact that it was VOD and that this really picked up, because of word of mouth. I only watched it last year. I know it came out in like 2016. It was like on Amazon Prime, just as this quiet little movie that was dropped there for free. And, it was just somebody would watch it and then tell somebody else about it, and really organic way of just like building a fan base. And that was really, really cool. I think that's what drew me to, and why after I heard about it, I watched it so quickly, besides the fact that I love found footage. And I really, really think that this is like a really worthy movie of like all the praise it gets. Even last October, I really wanted to do like a double feature of this and Grave Encounters, as a little party. It's just something that I think more people need to see.
Before we started the show, you mean?
Before we even started the show, yeah. I just wanted to get a bunch of people over here and get real good snacks and whatnot, and just show everybody a good found footage double feature.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I picked up the DVD when the director, Stephen Cognetti, was selling it through the Hell House website. And I checked out the commentary he recorded for it and the behind the scenes. I've got some notes from that. Most of Hell House comes from his inspiration by the stories hidden within abandoned things. And that's sort of like the driving force that like led him to write it.
Wait, you mean like literally just a concept of...
the idea of like seeing something abandoned and like what stories it holds.
Yeah.
He was talking about even like, shipwrecks and things like that. Items, anything abandoned, you know what I mean? Like what's the story that's within it?
Yeah.
Which I guess is a pretty bare bones way of breaking down Hell House, like down to like a real core in a single sentence or a single concept. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
He left a lot of room for improv within the script so that the dialogue could feel a little more natural, a little, flowed a little bit more like it doesn't feel like a narrative feature.
Yeah, yeah. Especially like you just see like in the interactions between the characters or some of their performances, like there's some like awkwardness to it. But it's like welcome awkwardness, it doesn't feel like bad acting. It just feels like natural conversation, natural people in this situation.
An interesting note that he said was that he found that editing found footage is a lot like putting together a documentary where you find the narrative within the edit rather than shooting the narrative.
Well, especially if you have such a loose kind of script, because like if you have a really tight script and you want to go by that, you can just plop, I guess, like the found footage like aesthetic or whatever on top of it, and maybe the editing won't really affect it too much. But it seems like he kind of had like a looser idea for this story. Although I've said in a previous episode, I can't remember which one, I'm a big proponent of editing. I loved editing when I would do it. I thought that might have been my secret career in film, not like so much writing or directing. I thought I found my niche in editing. So yeah, you can always. The movie comes out in editing. Love editors. They need more respect all the time.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. Originally, this was supposed to be shot at a real abandoned home in New York State, like the movie takes place in New York State.
Yeah.
But they found the Waldorf, and they decided, there's a lot of benefits to shooting at an actual haunt. They changed the script a little bit to fit, the Waldorf, which is actually a formerly like running hotel and inn. Like that really was an actual place where people would stay.
There's one thing though, I don't want to jump into this. I feel like I'm kind of throwing this at you because this was something that I also wanted to talk about and I didn't tell you beforehand.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't even touch on it in the haunt review, but there's no logical reason that building should be designed that way in the first place. And that kind of occurred to me watching Hell House LLC 2. So maybe we can save this conversation for that segment. But I do want to say, like, yeah, it was a running hotel and it is a haunt. There's no freaking reason any building should ever be that confusing to get through. It's really bad. It's like I genuinely now thinking, like, why did anyone do that aside from something mischievous or evil or something?
Yeah, I kind of agree, man. I mean, they definitely played that up in the movie and at the haunt.
Yeah.
But wow, what the hell?
I really want to get into that. So maybe in when we talk about
even just like talk about that bellhop thing that we saw in the haunt.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? You go in and then you have to immediately hook out of it?
That's what I mean. Like, you kind of go back towards the front door.
Yeah.
And then go to like this very small doorway, a little tiny hallway, and then that's where the bar is. Like, there's just it's almost like the Overlook. Like it doesn't really make much sense. On a grander scale, like if you would definitely know.
Yeah,
like
when you map it out, it doesn't.
There's no way that hotel exists that way.
Yeah.
And it feels like this is
this
a living, breathing
real,
exactly, a living, breathing thing. Like, why is this hotel mapped out like that?
Yeah. Oh my God.
So that's like a post review, post haunt experience that's kind of sticking with me. It's like, why is it really made like that?
Well, let's dive into the movie, man.
Okay.
Let's just jump head first in.
And the first one.
Into the first one. Take us away.
Okay, yeah, no pressure. First I want to go down through the four main characters.
Sure, absolutely.
So these guys are all buddies who have done haunts before. They have like a business basically doing that. And the Abaddon Hotel is their new place. It seems like they do it at a different place every year.
They move out of New York City. They're the owner, their leader, Alex, who won't tell them why. They're just saying, oh, no, dude, this is going to be so creepy. It's so much scarier when you can't walk outside and just get a slice of pizza.
Yeah,
you know what I
right,
mean?
which is definitely fucking true in reality.
Yeah.
But so they were mentioning like something about like Queens, like, oh, this is gonna be not like Queens. Like it sounded like Queens like was a failure. Yeah. So do they not like travel around to different locations like every time?
Well, a thing that's kept out of you see that in Hell House LLC too, but a thing that was cut out of the first movie was this like idea that they were kind of in financial ruin. Like it's just too expensive for them to keep going on in New York. Alex doesn't know what to do. There's hints. Did you watch through the credits of Hell House 2 and see that there's like a little conversation between Alex and like Tony or Mac? From like the original movie. Yeah.
I don't know. I did see some part, but
basically, yeah, he maybe invested their money in the wrong way. Like instead of his own money, he used the haunt money into something. Yeah. So they're screwed. It's also, this takes place in 2009. So you're like right where like, we have our economic recession in this country. So nobody's doing really good.
Oh yeah, like it had happened like the year before basically.
Which is really why Alex is pushing, to stay there. You know what I mean? He's like, it's just like, this is our make or break. You know what I mean? If this works, then I don't have to tell them about all the money I lost. So.
Or we'll say that for the second one. Yeah. The second one does inform a lot more of the first one.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, and there's 5 people, actually. I kind of
You
mistook.
skipped Sarah.
No, not Sarah.
Oh.
I skipped the camera guy, I guess.
You skipped Paul? Oh,
yeah.
He's so funny.
Like, I mean, okay, so hold on. So Alex is the showrunner. Who's a bit of a prick, kind of hard-headed. Like really, obviously, he has ulterior motives. Like I wouldn't say ulterior motives, but he has his reasons for being a dick and for like being very personally invested in this working out.
And he does believe in the haunt, though.
Yeah,
like really, he's got that notebook and he shows like the weird drawings in it at the end. But like he's always like just thinking about things. And the reason why they record is because he always wants to see the footage of them building it so they can do better next year.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely emotionally invested in doing this, and he's a
Which
horror
seems a little
fan.
manic, like the constant recording. Like, he's really strict about that.
But he doesn't want certain things shot. You know what I mean? It's just like he wants everything to be painted, you know,
in a good light.
in a good light.
So there's him. Sarah, who's Alex's girlfriend. Then there's Paul, who I really do love. I love Paul is Father John Misty.
It's the power mustache. That's why you like him.
I do. I love that mustache. I love John Misty, Father John Misty. There's
Padre John Misty.
There's Tony, who's the bro-y kind of guy of the group, and then there's Andrew. He's the redheaded dude. Those two characters, I feel like I don't get too much of like their characterization as much. Like even Paul, like, you know, he's a camera guy. He does like some video diaries. He seems kind of more like, I wouldn't say carefree, but like more like laid back.
He's just a horny jokester. That's all he is.
yeah. He's funny. And then the other two, like, I don't know. I don't really get their characters as much. I don't know.
Sarah seems like she's definitely not a horror fan. Her heart's not really in this. You don't see her even do like all that much like work towards it. She seems to just kind of be there to support her boyfriend.
Yeah, just the girlfriend too. That's another. You brought that up too. Yeah, I mean, like I think her character lacks a lot too. I think she's just Alex's girlfriend. I don't know. There was all that much to really gain from her character, which sucks. That is a critique right there.
Yeah.
Stop casting women as just, you know, significant others.
Fair.
Or writing them that way.
Well, let's talk about, like, do you see a relation between found footage horror specifically and, like, haunted houses, or haunting, rather?
So that's something that really, I think, came to light with watching this in preparation. Like, I literally watched this the night before we went to the haunt.
On my command.
Yeah. And, you know, the movie is literally about a group of people or a bunch of people that end up getting hurt or killed going to a haunted house. And you and I are going to that haunted house.
On opening night.
Which, you know, then I started thinking, I was like, yeah, like there's probably a lot that can go wrong. Not just necessarily at this place, but at haunted houses. Like, you don't really know what's real sometimes. Like, if someone's like literally screaming, "Oh my God, I'm dying!" Like, oh wow, that's such a cool part of the show,
right?
Or like, where are the exits? These things are usually like pretty dimly lit. Especially literally Waldorf was pretty freaking dark for most of it. So yeah, like those thoughts started coming into my head when I hadn't thought about them before. And as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I really do like the way they use the camera, the handheld camera in this. Like, it's even attached to like someone's head at one point, going through like the haunt basically, or that you see even, you know, actual paid customers, like they have like their YouTube, like
the YouTube video streams, from that.
Yeah. So I think it's cool that way because you're literally, you know, it's like a virtual experience at that point. You're going through this haunt, through the eyes of someone who's going through it. But I don't think I ever thought of that connection like ever before. Yeah.
You know, to touch on the thing you were saying about, like, you know, nobody can know if you're actually hurt or anything. Lindsay told me a story about a haunt out where she was, that an actor was doing something on like a wire, and she got caught up and was choking with it and was there for like 2 hours or something. She didn't die or anything, but she was like struggling, and everybody just thought that it was part of the show until like an actual like stagehand type came by and was like, "Oh shit."
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So right there you see, you know, and both the, you know, the staff and the, you know, customers of a haunt, it's a really defenseless place because ultimately everything's fake. There's no way that you could grab some kind of weapon to protect yourself. There's, you know, they're specifically designed to be disorienting, not just with like the way that you would move through them, but also with, you know, with lights and effects and animatronics and the, you know, the darkness that surrounds everything. And they both, like, found footage and haunts work on like this really primal level where they're trying to get you through disorientation and loud noises and straight ahead scares. There's really it really makes sense to do, you know, this kind of story in found footage.
Yeah, for sure. I can't imagine like how this movie would have panned out, like if it was just a movie like any other narrative.
Right.
Yeah.
There's another movie that came out, I believe, in the same year called The Houses October Built, which is
I've heard of that one.
basically almost the same idea, but from the like haunt goer experience. It's them looking for a more and more extreme haunt until they find one that's a little too extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not nearly as an effective a film as this is, but it's just like interesting that this is becoming a theme that's coming up. I think there's a new movie called Extremity that's about extreme haunts. Like, it's becoming a hot topic for like horror films.
Well, I mean, not to get all preachy, but you know, I think you and I kind of spoke about this a little bit, about like how people are kind of getting like desensitized to like things just because they're watching a lot of like horror and stuff. I know that's something that like the documentary that you and I watched like on separate occasions. What is it, Haunters?
Haunters, yeah.
You know, they talked a lot about extreme haunts, quote unquote extreme, you know, or quote unquote haunt, I should say. Yeah, like you know, I think just there's so much crap going on all the time. Like they even mentioned like historically that haunted houses kind of became a thing during like the Great Depression because people were using ways to escape. So it's like, yeah, I mean, shit's just kind of piling up. The future looks pretty bleak for everyone on this whole planet.
That's when horror movies work the best too. Mm-hmm. Is like, you know, it's always just an expression of societal fears.
Yeah. So I you know, I see the correlation. Like, of course, you know, we're seeing literal extreme haunts happening, and I think it's cool that the movies are starting to pick up on that. You know,
yeah,
exploiting that a little bit.
What I really like about this film is like the exposition seems really seamless, and you get the facts of the film in a way that makes a lot more sense than if one character was going to info dump. You know, you get through the YouTube video, the 911 call, you get the narration of the doc. It's presented as a documentary.
Yeah, you get the talking heads in there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it feels, although you know it's a movie, you know, like nobody would ever release a documentary where the documentary crew making it died, but it feels really natural.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true for this, and I appreciated that a lot, and I appreciated also the tempo that they had for that. You know, it was always creating more and more mystery, and not just to like, you know, stack it up and build it up to be this really, really horrifying thing. It was just like informational. It was like I was watching like some kind of travel channel documentary, like that was just genuinely spooky. And then when it finally gets around to like, you know, what actually happened, like you're already really invested in the story, and you have all that background information that it informs the horror of what you're seeing, you know, rather than just, you know, info dumping.
Right. And that's another really strong suit of the film. You just, I guess, like mentioned, like the mystery that you get wrapped up in.
Yeah.
And you just want to know what happens, and they're not giving you the answers at the pace that you want. They barely give you any answers at all.
Yeah, true.
And that works towards it. This is like a mystery film. You know what I mean? It's like you're not just watching something like, say, The Exorcist or The Shining, where it is kind of laid out for you. You kind of understand, okay, she's possessed. What are they going to do about it? You know, the hotel's fucked up. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
This is, you just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and like you said, you kind of don't really get the answers to compare to another found footage. The second. Yeah, to compare to another found footage and another Good Suffering episode. The Blair Witch Project. You know, all that was going on in that movie, and you get to the end and you really don't see anything. Whereas in this movie, you get all the way up to the end, and you do see stuff that's happening. Like you see, I guess, like who the perps are, right. but then that's it. That's all you get,
right?
You know, and it makes you wonder. It's like, okay, like is either one any better? Like, is literally not seeing anything in Blair Witch? Is that like all that different from actually seeing them in this movie, but still getting no answer?
I think that's what works about Hell House is it keeps what's good about Blair Witch, but you know, as film goes on, as you know, more and more movies come out, you have to top it. You know what I mean? You have to go more extreme, and that's you know, you take that whether or not it's a criticism or you know.
Yeah, I personally think that this was more effective. That you know, but rather than a gyp that was Blair Witch.
But really,
in a sense, like I'm not like angry about it, but like, you know, come on, like I think we can all objectively say like you literally don't see anything. Yeah. So,
but you know, I just feel like this really retains a lot of the core elements that make found footage great. That you don't get in the movies that ruin the genre, or at least people perceive as ruining the subgenre, where you get like these straight on camera shots of things that would happen in a normal movie, but wouldn't actually get caught on camera. You know what I mean? Where you have like big exposition, or you have weird character moments where nobody would be recording it, especially like directed at it. You know what I mean? Like you have movies like The Gallows and whatnot that are like just really weirdly, you know, I guess designed. But yeah, this really goes back to that like Blair Witch Project idea of like this is the character's perspective, so you need to be as confused as them.
Yeah.
And it works, but also gives you the real pops and scares and imagery that you don't get from Blair Witch. And that's not a knock on Blair Witch. I love me some Blair Witch.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
I'm okay. You can listen back to the review on it. I I liked it for what it's worth.
Episode 10, baby.
So I feel like we can talk a little bit about like what does make it scary, at least what I thought would made it scary too. And this all ties into like just how the perception, like you only know exactly what the characters know. It was a very good use of like just of confusion, of things that just shouldn't make sense. They have these 3 clowns that are just mannequins, and one of which is very, very freaking scary.
Very active.
Yeah, like, you know, you would see them on screen and they'd be looking in one direction. They pan the camera to look at something else, and they turn back, and all 3 of them are looking back at you at the camera. Or like they're like suddenly in a different position. Like when Paul is like going through the haunt.
Oh, that's so great.
It's such a good part. And then all of a sudden he sees the clown like in the hallway. He's like, oh, well, like, what are you doing there, Alex? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And he turns, and then all of a sudden it's looking at him. He's like, whoa, what the fuck? And just there's so many good things like that. Where like sudden things have moved as the camera looks away, and you turn back, and things have changed quite a bit. Things have moved closer. Things are, and then they're not explained.
There's the great thing where they're testing out the strobe lights, and that clown is
and
just
you see
in and out
clown.
and in and out. Yeah.
And then to keep the documentary form there too, like they even do like a freeze frame where you get to see the actual clown in case you didn't see it for yourself, which is really cool. And those parts were the parts that were really scary. Or even early on when Paul is doing, I guess like the first video diary that he does while he's in bed, all you see shrouded in darkness is like a girl with long hair, and he thinks it's Sarah, and she's just standing there not saying anything, and then she walks away. Like there's just like all this air of like doom, like impending on these people that have no idea what's going on, and so you're stuck with them. You're not given any answer, and you're not given any way for your mind to be like explaining it. You're just stuck in that confusion with them.
Right. You know, there's like these interesting through lines that go through this movie. I don't know. I saw the director's cut off the DVD, and you saw the regular cut from Shudder.
The DVD didn't work for me.
Yeah, that was your Xbox's issue. I hope.
Me too. Honestly.
But did you see the thing with the Google Street View?
No.
I think that was cut, where like in Google Street View, even like prior to like them being there, Alex is like in the Google Street View for the Abaddon Hotel. Like he's like standing,
Alex is there.
Yeah, like in the picture.
Yeah.
And so they're like, there's a lot of these ideas of fate, which they really hammer on in the second.
Really hammer on.
There's the idea of like nothing happens to them while they're there until they start sleeping there. So there's the connection of the idea of they're constantly needing to be guests at the hotel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like keeping guests there, you know, in a very sinister way.
Which is brought more on to the second one, yeah.
And it's got one of the great, I guess, tropes, for lack of a better word, that I love in film, which is like city-goers, like city people, really not being prepared for a rural setting and really being uncomfortable by the woods or the darkness or, you know, going out, you know, away from the city.
Yeah, you don't belong around here.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I
Which
really...
is what happened to us when we entered that bar.
Yeah, oh my God.
That was freaky.
Yeah, but I love that. I think, you know, every country has the place where they sort of where their horror comes from, and you look at America and it's the woods. You know what I mean? It's the source of a lot of tragedy in America. You talk about like killing of Native Americans. You talk about, you know, just the hard life of like pilgrims and whatnot. And
Yeah, not so much just the woods, but like, you know,
just like
nature,
away
or
from
the
civilization,
boonies.
or like where civilization's a bit more spread out.
Yeah.
And you see that in movies like Texas Chainsaw or like the aforementioned Blair Witch, like The Shining, Evil Dead. They all play around with that idea of like you're away and there's something evil out here and you can't handle it.
Especially in this technological time that we live in.
Yeah.
We're so plugged in, and we have like all these things that kind of make us feel safe. Like we have GPS just in case anything goes wrong.
Right.
So you strip that away, you're in the middle of like a dead zone.
And people don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And I love that they continue that theme through this movie. They're just uncomfortable by the fact that they're not in New York. You know, they're uncomfortable. They don't know anybody. They're there. They don't really leave the haunt area.
I know. That's what I was saying to you the whole time. It's like there's and you mentioned this too. It's like there's no escape. Like once you're there, like that's it. You're stuck there for a while. And these people were literally living in that house.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a dumb idea. That's Alex added again.
Yeah. Well, I guess you get a little bit more, again, like just Hell House 2 explaining everything.
Yeah. Which...
Yeah. We'll get into that. We'll get to
Yeah.
that. But do you, like what else? Do you have anything else to say about this?
I think I have maybe more to say in retrospect.
Like within context of like
2.
After 2?
Yeah. And also like I think I'm curious to see or to hear opinions of people who have seen this movie without going to the haunt. You know, even though I saw it before I actually went there, I still had in my mind the fact that I was going to be there. And I think that played a part of it. But I don't know. That might have that definitely like elevated the horror of seeing this movie. But I don't think it's necessarily exclusive. I think just overall, you know, all the things that we mentioned, the great use of found footage, the kind of looseness of the perception or perspective rather. I guess looseness isn't really the word. More like how you're stuck. You know what I mean? Like you're stuck with the characters. Really, I think it's a good movie. It's really
you're seeing the day-to-day injected into. It's not just scare. It's you're seeing them go through those motions, and you're understanding why they're pushing forward, even though these weird things are happening.
And a lot of drama. You know, a lot of drama between this group of friends.
Yeah.
You know, like they're trying to literally run an operation. They're like worried about getting actors. They want to make sure that like people are safe. That one female actor, like the only other female actor, I think, you know, she was like chained up against like the wall. They want to make sure that they have a huge guy down there to protect from like, you know, weird guys like touching her or whatever.
Yeah. Uncle Touchy's tickle bunker type guys.
Yeah. And he's the clown, and he kind of like dips. He's like,
and he dips. Oh my god!
Yeah.
And it took me until this watch to realize, like, oh wait, no, that's not just a bad actor.
Yeah.
Like coming through. That's like straight up like. He's dipping.
Yeah,
I didn't realize. I didn't put them together. I didn't realize that the drama was already happening downstairs.
Yeah, and this just that good dynamic between friends. I think that's one thing we didn't really talk about too much is that each character, despite like those two and even Sarah, you know, not being as strong of like individualized characters, there's still like good dynamic between them. There's still like the struggle of like trying to do something legitimate while shit's happening. People not believing that or denying that crazy things are happening, still staying with it so that they can be successful. I know I've mentioned it before. I can't recall what movie. My memory's shot apparently. But like when shit goes bad, like you kind of just need your friends there to help you out, and that's usually when all like hell breaks loose. It's like friends cannot get on the same page, and that's when everyone gets killed.
Right.
So they did a good job of doing that here too. The good friend dynamic in the group. Yeah.
So you want to get into the sequel?
If we must.
The Shudder exclusive Hell House LLC 2, The Abaddon Hotel. Right off the bat, well, do you have an IMDb? Is there an IMDb yet?
There is an IMDb.
Oh,
Let me
cool.
see if there is a synopsis though. Can I get some background music real quick? All right, here we are. Okay, Hell House LLC 2, The Abaddon Hotel. Here is the IMDb synopsis. It's been 8 years since the opening night tragedy of Hell House LLC, and still many unanswered questions remain. Thanks to an anonymous tip, investigative journalist Jessica Fox is a long summary. Jessica Fox is convinced that key evidence is hidden inside the Abaddon Hotel, evidence that will shed light on the hotel's mysteries. She assembles a team equally hungry for answers with one goal: break into the hotel and discover the truth.
Christ, that feels
I
like
thought the other one was long.
Yeah, somebody on the team definitely wrote that. You know what I mean? Like, that
Some-
was not
just
like
some
some
dude.
impartial person.
Yeah.
That was like,
That's
ooh.
Hey, if you guys need a copywriter or whatever,
Christ.
hit me up.
So right off the bat, this movie focuses way more on the hotel itself and the legacy, and I guess that's all wrapped up with what we've been saying, that it just exposes a lot.
Yeah.
So
a lot.
What do you think about it?
I think that we know way too much now because of this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it adds anything
No.
to the and I was thinking this too. I was like, okay, like what would the sequel, how would you have made a good sequel of this without literally remaking the first movie? And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know what, maybe a sequel wasn't needed, like, at all.
But a sequel was always planned, it seems. I think there's going to be a trilogy. I think they're going to do a third.
But like, where do you go? That's like, I mean, like, I don't know. It was such a far, like, deviance from like the first one. Like, there's a part where like you even see like the gate opening, and that was just kind of like
More like the biggest knock I have against the first movie is the like CGI that's like really terrible when they're dragging the actress girl into the portal. Do you remember that? In the basement. There's a shot.
As they're like trying to escape the basement.
Yeah, and you see her like slide into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they do more of that, and I guess the most positive thing I could say about it is that it's still pretty effectively scary. Like, the scares still land.
The second one.
Yeah. At least for me. I think it's still the scares land. That's, if anybody hears that, that's my beautiful hamster Hannah.
Yeah, if you have been hearing that for some time now. She's adorable.
Yeah. But this was, my first time watching it for the show.
Yeah.
It just came out recently.
Yeah, breaking form.
Yeah, breaking a little bit of form. Hey, it's a special episode. It's the start of the spooky season.
Yeah, it's for Halloween.
Yeah. And I was really excited about this movie going into it. I think it let me down a little bit. It retained, some of the things that I really love about the first, but it lost charm. The charm of the first one, that it was just a low budget, knowing that, like, oh, the set designer is the person who owns the actual haunt, knowing that, like, it was, like, put together on a really small budget and made with, like, a really small crew. This felt like they got more money, and they widened the scope.
Yeah,
and like in an unnecessary way.
The news broadcast thing in front of like the green screen, like that was
kept going and going and going. And
yeah,
going.
We didn't need to go back, because even in the first movie, like the talking head documentary part, like didn't come back. It was there for a good portion of it, like a whole like first third of it, but then after that, it didn't really need to be there.
These are pretty equally. Like, the movies are equal in amount of time, but this one just felt longer even.
Yeah. Because I think the main thing is that this did feel like an info dump of a movie. A lot of it was being told. It seemed more scripted and like with like less enthusiasm. Like I don't know, like a lot of the interaction on that like news broadcast thing was just kind of. It felt wrong. It felt fake. It felt so flat. I don't know. Yeah.
Another funny thing is, did you see they were showing those videos of like the kid going into the house and whatnot, like people like challenging the legend?
Bloggers, yeah.
Which was an idea that I thought was really cool. I think it's still kind of a cool idea if somebody explores that more. Like okay, found footage. What else haven't we done? Like, because there's always like the necessity of like, why do you need to film this? And that's always the first question people have in found footage. Like, why are they still filming?
Yeah.
And I think like the idea of a vlog is like a great idea.
Yeah.
To like be the driving force of why it keeps getting filmed.
There was
But all that footage is from the first movie or like post first movie because they did these series of YouTube videos. Or I don't know if they were on YouTube, but he definitely posted them to the Facebook for it.
so they literally were done before.
Yeah, it was like the Hell House Fallout.
Yeah.
And it's like just these added little things to like keep you going in between the two movies. And to throw those into the movies felt a little cheap. I like the idea of it being outside, but then like to put them into this, like, did you really not have enough of an idea? You know what I mean? Like you could have cut in an extra few minutes and not put those things in.
I have a movie for you that was a thesis film at FDU that I got to watch over like what was it, like Memorial Day. You might like it because they kind of run with that whole like vlogger thing, and it's not so much horror, but like a weird like kind of suspenseful thing. And I would name drop the filmmakers for God's sake, for student filmmakers, but I can't remember who did it.
Oh, good. Thanks.
I can just maybe text someone real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also noticed a lot of similarities in the sequel to Grave Encounters 1 and 2.
Which I have not seen.
Which you haven't seen.
But we definitely will.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
It takes the same approach as Grave Encounters 2, and I guess the same approach as Blair Witch 2, where it's like semi-meta, where it's like, ooh, we all saw the documentary, or we saw the movie, and now
it's
we're
fake.
Yeah, now we're gonna go figure out what really happened.
I don't think anyone had that kind of accent or voice thing going on.
No, definitely not. But like it felt like the same. The approach to Grave Encounters 2 is like, oh, this has got to be fake. We're gonna go check it out. You know what I mean? Also, like the idea like that there was no real exit in like Hell House, like they weren't able to escape once they were in there. That's like totally cribbed from Grave Encounters. Also, the really obvious like the bad paranormal investigator guy.
That
who's
was
super
one
corny.
thing too. Was
that is
so
straight up Grave Encounters.
fucking-
That is what happens in Grave Encounters. Is
Really?
it's like Grave Encounters is essentially like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters. If you've ever seen that,
I like Ghost Adventures, so don't knock it.
it's
but go
like if that actually went wrong.
on.
But there is like they bring in like, ooh, I'm a psychic medium and I can talk to the ghosts and connect with them, and he's like really cheesy.
he was,
And that is so cribbed from Grave Encounters 1.
and
It hurts.
And
it hurts. It stung.
spoiler alert. His fatal fucking death happens pretty early as soon as they get into the house.
Yeah.
It was kind of. I mean, I didn't like him, but like thought it was pretty interesting that they killed him off.
And then nobody
easily.
mentions him again. Nobody even like remembers like, oh hey, he was here.
Oh, I mean, they see the aftermath, but then that was it.
But yeah, there's never
I can
any
see
time
them.
where like, hey, where did he go?
Oh yeah, they're like, oh whatever, he's off doing whatever his own thing is.
Yeah.
Fuck him anyway.
It continues the theme of legacy. It continues the theme of, like the real strong push that this is a hotel. And whatever forces are at work are not just linked to this place, but the idea that it was a hotel. They mention Andrew Tully in the first movie. They mentioned him as so he hangs himself. He was the original owner. He might have been connected to some cult activity.
Yeah.
And he becomes just a fucking bad guy in this one.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
they kept name dropping him the whole time in this one, and it should have been obvious to me, like as to why. Like I'm actually genuinely shocked because that surprise, that twist, well, I wasn't all that surprised by it.
No.
I think I could have picked up on it earlier had I invested more into what I was watching.
I knew he had to be up to something because he just was like, whenever
He looked creepy. That was
he
that
looked
was the main
creepy.
thing that
he was
made
in
me
on. Like,
stick out.
oh no, there's nothing going wrong here. And it's
Yeah.
always like the people in on the conspiracy. And then they showed that video with Alex,
Yeah.
and you hear that voice, and you're like, oh,
Uh-huh.
that's fucking him.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
fucking him.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like they go like his name's Arnold Tasselman, A.T. Andrew Tully.
Yeah.
Like there's just a little too much.
Again, like I said, like I wasn't surprised by that. I think like
No.
subconsciously I was just like, yeah, that makes sense. I saw that coming.
Yeah.
God, yeah, and that's disheartening because I hear both of our takes on this, and it wasn't all that great of a follow up to what was a pretty damn good movie. It's upsetting. But that's weird that you tell me that like the second movie was always planned. Like, was that always?
Yeah, they always wanted to do like a sequel, and now I think there's going to be a trilogy.
But why? Like, what did they talk
Because
about? Like,
I think
was there any?
Stephen Cognetti wanted to give the answers, and I think he wanted people to wait. I don't know.
Okay, well, hey man, if you're listening to this show, I mean, we have some pointers on how to fix the third one.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Yeah, shit. Like, I just don't even know what to say. Like, this was just like, it wasn't a wholly terrible movie. Like I said, the scares still got me. I like the idea that they would continue those themes, but I think the fatal flaw, like the real knife wound twisted in the gut, is just the fact that they just gave everything away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's one thing too, but I guess just to differ from what you were saying, like you said, there were effective scares. I think all of the scares were like, okay, I've seen this before. Like when they're in the freezer in the basement, and the camera's placed right there, and you see the doorway all pitch black. You know someone's gonna go there, and then all you see is the clown walk past, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Oh,
like,
it's fun.
You know,
it's fun. I get it. The tropes got to be the tropes.
It's but like I've seen it before. Like, dude,
Fair.
there's something else. You know, like, I literally saw this in your universe.
What's funny is like in the commentary for the first movie, he said, "Oh, I cut a lot of scares out of the first because I felt like I'd seen them before."
Okay,
but like he didn't. But he didn't do that in the second.
Yeah, I was gonna say it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, the first one
because the first scares were like something that were
interesting, original. Yeah.
These ones not so much.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I liked the scares. I was spooked. I liked when the girl blinks, and you see like they're like walking past and they think it's a dummy, and she just.
Oh yeah, but we had seen her before. We know that she's real.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's fun. I didn't know. I thought she was just gonna jump out or something.
Just a subtle blink.
Yeah,
it wasn't
blink
so
and then,
subtle, but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was good. It was definitely interesting, having seen it after that we went through the haunt, because now even things like I'm still looking around and I'm like, oh, that's where we were. That's pretty cool. I know where all the cool jump scares are.
I think as a filmmaker, I don't know if it's just a byproduct of the fact that now the characters like have done this sort of like gonzo journalism before, or if he's just gotten better, like just technically. But it seemed like a bit more organized. It seemed like he knew where to place the camera a bit better. And I don't know if that's his, like, I just noticed that, like, just framing and whatnot was a bit better.
Yeah, but that almost loses the charm of the first one. It's
that's
like
a fair assessment,
it shouldn't be that much better. It shouldn't be all that much more professional.
It's a fair assessment. I mean, it works with the fact, again, like the characters are like journalists. They do this whole because the driving force of the filming in this one is that it's transparency. They want everybody in on everything, and that's kind of like their approach. You know, they talk about how we got like a state senator impeached or something.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing. And I don't know if it was just like Cognetti making a choice to do it more like that, or if he's actually like learned a bit. But I think, well, yeah, it could take away from the charm. I think it works. I think that works for what they're presenting.
Maybe, but it's within a movie that's not that great.
Okay, yeah, so, you're right.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I heard back from my good pal Ben. Wanted to name drop the filmmaker of that other movie. He believes, he's not 100% certain, that her name is Emily Sullivan. And apparently the movie might not have gone out to festivals or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know if anyone has any idea, or if we're friends with people from FDU or whatever, or maybe I'll post something about it too, just to plug other students' films. Maybe I'll do that when I find out more.
Yeah.
It's mainly for you.
You're more excited about this short than you are for anything from Hell House 2.
I like helping people out. You know, these are budding filmmakers.
So let's talk about the ending. Let's go into like the last sequence of Hell House 2, where we find out that Arnold Tasselman is Andrew Tully.
Yeah.
And that somehow he's back to life.
Yeah.
And that
he's never been gone.
He's never been gone.
Yeah.
And that, you know, he's got the original Hell House people there. You see Alex and everybody.
I only saw Alex and like Tony.
Is that it?
Oh no, and the actor, the female actor. I forget what her name is.
Yeah, Melissa, maybe.
That might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see that, and they give Mitchell Cavanaugh, who is like the surviving filmmaker from the first movie, like the surviving documentarian, a choice of like who's gonna live, who's gonna die. They make some obvious Shining references with like quotes like "This hotel has always been occupied," and I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, he is like such a he's fucking Count Dracula, motherfucker." They should got Nick Cave for that role.
Oh God, I wish I would watch anything with Nick Cave in it.
Christ. But
what about
it's
the
just
ending?
it's I don't know, like
it's and there were multiple endings. It felt like a movie that like would not end because it just kept adding more things to it. Mm-hmm. For instance, what's her name? Fox, whatever.
Jessica Fox,
right?
Who becomes the Sarah of this movie, like the one who goes out and then like they do that thing where he. Like the investigating officer, like walks across the camera and she's like, "Ah."
Yeah, her face is all of a sudden like just mutilated.
Yeah, and she's like giving this like wicked smile.
Yeah, and then like the frame gets covered up by someone walking past, and it just goes back to she's still beat up, but it goes back to normal. Jessica Fox, and like that twist like happened before. That was Sarah.
Yeah.
So like,
what do you do with the third one? You know what I mean? Here? Like what going into it? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe we could come up with a script. Maybe we should write a script and then send it out to Cognetti and see what he thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else to say?
I was expecting more, I guess. I will say though that as an exclusive for Shudder, it's not like bad. It's like Shudder's not Netflix,
right?
You know what I mean. So they don't have. I don't imagine that
they didn't fund the movie.
Huge...
They just bought it afterwards. The movie was supposed to come out like 2 months ago, and then like Shudder. They were like, "Oh, we got to pull it. We'll talk to you about it in 2 weeks." And then they were like, "Hey, guess what? Shudder bought it."
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I mean, good for Hell House. I mean, regardless of what I think about this, like I especially as somebody who's like been following the movie for a while and really championing it. If you go back through like my Facebook and stuff, you'll see me talking about it. I'm really happy that they got on a bigger platform. I mean, that even solely like speaks volumes about the quality of the first.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, again, we're kind of we're not happy with the second one, but I still think it's worth noting like that this is a good filmmaker. Here, the first one's definitely very good. Yeah. So more encouragement. I don't think this is like we're not coming from a place of malice or like we don't hate this movie. We almost just really want to see more. We want to see better.
I wanted it to be better.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't come into this with the agenda of shit talking it.
Exactly.
I was hoping I wasn't going to have this conversation.
Yeah.
But I love indie horror like this. I love this low budget stuff. I want to see movies like this win. You know what I mean? I think, we talk about Hereditary. We've done Texas Chainsaw. We've done like, I did a Nun review with these like big movies. Mm-hmm. But this is what, like, if you are really a horror fan, this is what you need to be looking out for. Because this is supporting the genre. This is supporting the people who can't find funding either way.
Oh, let me get my note pen. I can write that down. I'm trying to be a real horror fan here.
I just think like it's fine to like the classics. It's fine to like the big ones, but I'm happy we're doing an episode on this. I'm happy that like even like whatever little bit of exposure we can give this movie, both of these movies we give, because. This is horror at its roots, you know what I mean? This is what made Texas Chainsaw and Halloween the big things they are. It starts with like these little. It starts with being a smaller movie.
Mm-hmm. And as the country and the whole world like just continues to spiral out of control, we can not only expect great punk rock music, but great horror.
Oh God. One of those is a lie.
Yeah. Oh man, dude. If Donald Trump gets like elected, we're gonna have great punk rock coming out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know what happened since then? Green Day released another album.
Ew.
Oh boy, but I guess that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and review. We're at episode 15 now, which is officially our 20th episode.
Like total.
Yeah. We do the bonus ones, but and that also counts. I think I count episode 0 in that too.
In the total of 20?
Yeah. But don't forget to subscribe and review, like I said.
Share it out there.
Share it. Leave comments if you can. And we are on social media, on Twitter, @good_suffering. on Instagram at Good Suffering Podcast, and you can find us on Facebook at Good Suffering: a horror podcast. Thank you, and once again, this has been Good Suffering.